United States is a superpower, not only militarily, but economically. So,
but, Doctor, let me stop you right there. Let me just stop you for a minute.
Yeah.
This is great game stuff. I mean, this sounds like British tactics to knock everybody else out so we're number one. But meanwhile, our same elite is taking our basic freedoms as well and foisting it into this global system. I mean, I want the American system to be successful and to be the culture of the world, but I wanted to do that through the fact that it's moral and upright. StevePieczenik.com is his website. Okay, Doc, so we covered a lot of different issues today. Interesting perspective. I do monitor what I'd call dinosaur media, and I mean, that's all they've got because big government, socialism, collectivism didn't deliver, so now it's just class warfare. It's sick to watch big crony capitalists like George Soros and the big foundations full tilt funding racial division and infighting. But I guess that's what they need to do to keep us from ever identifying them. What is your brief prognosis for the new year, the economy, and what's coming?
I think my prognosis is very good. Number one, our economy is going to be growing very quickly as the oil price is going down to probably $40 a barrel. Number two, we're growing at a very fast rate, 3 to 5% per year. Small businesses are increasing capacity. Local government is becoming more and more effective as opposed to national government. We are going to stop going into other wars. We're going to start ceasing the war. We're going to have a Iran détente, and probably Palestine will be recognized. That's a far stretch, but I would say that's where it's going to go. We're going to realign the Middle East, and I think America will remain the superpower for quite another 5 to 10 years without any effort and without use of military force.
What about China?
Optimistic.
What about other hotspots?
China has to work with us because Americans have to understand one thing. Every renminbi or every yuan that the Chinese have is calibrated against the dollar. So they can have as many renminbi as they can, but it really is against the dollar. But China is now in a real state of economic problems. I don't wish it to collapse, but President Xi, XI, has now gotten rid of a lot of the kleptocrats, just like he did of Putin. He could have gotten rid of Putin. He's getting rid of all of the corruption within the military, within the Communist Party, and he's trying to regionalize the growth areas so they can grow. But unfortunately, China cannot grow as effectively as the United States. It will not be a dominant power. Even though its economy is larger than ours, our per capita income is very low compared to ours. Whereas in the 20 to 30,000, theirs is in a couple of thousand. So there's no comparison between China and the United States. China will always work with us or against us, but for the most part, China is not a threat.
What about their threats to go in and grab Philippine or Japanese islands?
It's only a threat. Basically, we've had the Spratly Island issues, which I've written about 20, 30 years ago, but basically we act as the intercessor. Our sink back, our Navy is very effective. Without our Navy, China cannot go through the Straits of Malacca or into the seas and the Pacific Ocean without our protection. So China needs us to protect their shipping. We protect 98% of this shipping.
What do you make of China starting military action against Vietnam?
Well, they can start it, but they have to remember they were twice beaten by Vietnam, and that's quite dangerous. Chinese know the Vietnamese have beaten them twice. It's not a good beginning for the Chinese. They're not going to continue with that. China has a bigger internal problem than it has external problems. And Xi is a very ruthless leader, and he will keep China controlled, but it has to be controlled. Within 1 year, you have 175,000 riots that have to do with corruption. Corruption, not communism.
And we're seeing attacks on police and government when they're seen as not delivering justice. As you said, over 100,000 riots a year. I think if we see more government corruption here, we're going to see that phenomenon expanding.
Well, the United States is interesting. We are a very quiet people, but basically if it pushes too far, we do have the Second Amendment, and it's always there. We don't need to use it right now.
I agree with you. We need to, whoever holds their fire to the end wins in this fight. Dr. Pieczenik, thank you. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. We'll be back tomorrow live. I'm going to do some overdrive.
GCN,
Infowars.com/show.
Radio Network.